Let's have fun with this one. Let's have fun with this one. So we've spent 11 chapters breaking down Byron Sharp's book, How Brands Grow. We've talked about penetration over loyalty, acquisition over retention, mass marketing over heavy buyer targeting, distinctiveness versus differentiation, and how advertising builds memory, not persuasion. Why price promotions cost more than they produce, and why loyalty programs lose you money. Chapter 12 is where Sharp ties it all together. And the two concepts at the center of everything he has argued across the entire book are the same two concepts that we have been coming back to over and over again through the series. That is mental availability and physical availability. This is chapter 12. Let's get into it. Mental availability is the probability that a buyer will think of your brand when they are in a buying situation. It is not brand awareness in the traditional sense. Awareness means that someone has heard of you. Mental availability means that your brand comes to mind when the buying decision is being made. For a CrossFit gym, mental availability means that when someone in your market decides they're finally going to get into shape or do something about their fitness, your gym is one of the first gyms that they think of. Not because they've searched for it, but not because a friend mentioned it in that moment, but because your brand has been present in their environment consistently enough that it has taken up residence in their memory. Sharp writes, mental availability is built through consistent, broad-reaching advertising that creates and refreshes memory structures that link your brand to buying situations. Every awareness campaign you run, every piece of content that you put in front of your market, every time your gym's name appears in someone else's feed or on the screen or in a conversation, you are building and reinforcing those memory structures. The effect is slow, but it is cumulative, and the effect is essential to your growth. Physical availability, on the other hand, is the ease in which your buyer can find, access, and purchase from your brand. Mental availability gets your brand into the consideration set. Physical availability determines whether the person can buy. For a CrossFit gym, physical availability is your Google business profile showing the right hours, location, and contact information. It's your website loading correctly on both your PC and mobile. It's someone being able to book an intro class in under 2 minutes without having to call anyone or fill out a long form or navigate confusing membership pages. You can win the mental availability battle completely and still lose the sale because a motivated prospect hit your website and couldn't figure it out. Physical availability is not glamorous. It does not feel like marketing, but it is the last gate between your brand growing and getting new members or staying where it is. And a locked gate is a locked gate, regardless of how much awareness you built to get them there. Mental availability, again, gets them to the door. It gets them to the gate. Physical availability gets them through it. Mental availability gets you to the gate. Physical availability gets them through the gate. You need both. And a weakness in either one is going to cost you potential members that your awareness campaign has probably already earned. Now, shifting topics a little bit, this is where my interest landed on this chapter, which is the viral trap. And here's what Sharp introduces in this chapter that I think is one of the most practically important warnings in the entire book, especially for anyone who's trying to build a brand in today's social media era. He starts with his example. If you're old enough to remember, and I know I'm dating myself, there was a Miller Lite commercial called Man Laws. And it was a campaign that ran in the early 2000s. It was one of the most talked about advertising campaigns of the time. It was funny, it was culturally resonant, it spread through conversation in a way that content spreads through social media today. People quoted it, they referenced it, and by any measure of cultural impact, the Miller Lite Man Law commercial was a massive success. And Sharp's point is that memorability of the creative worked against the brand in a meaningful way, because people remembered the premise far more vividly than they remembered that it was a Miller Lite ad. The entertainment value of the campaign was so strong that it absorbed all of the attention that was supposed to be building mental availability for Miller Lite. Now, understand, people don't go to television or to the internet or to social media to be advertised to. They go either to be entertained or to be educated. And when you produce content that is purely entertaining without being distinctively and inseparably tied to your brand, you risk producing entertainment rather than advertising. You give the people a show, but you don't make it sure that the people understand your brand. The brands that avoid this trap are the ones whose creative is so fused with their distinctive assets that you can't separate the entertainment from the brand. And when that's done well, you can't hear a jingle or see the symbol without thinking of the company. Now, I'll give you a more consistent example. I'm not going to use that one. Now, we're going to have to play a little game. I want to have fun with this one. So now we're going to play a game. I'm going to give you 3 ads. All of the ads were from roughly 2015. I'm going to describe the ad. You get a point if you remember what the ad is. So I'm going to describe it. There's a man, and the text is, "The way your man could smell like." It includes a shirtless man on a white horse with rapid fire scene changes, an impossibly smooth delivery. I'm on a horse. It's one of the most shared references of the decade. Think about it. I'm on a horse. White horse. If you know what it is, write it down, make a note of it. This one may give it away, but do you remember? It's Puppy Monkey Baby. It's featured 3 gentlemen sitting on a couch and a creature coming in that was part puppy, part monkey, part baby. It danced around and handed out their product to the people on this couch. Think about it. Try to vision it. If you know what it is, either write it down or remember it. The third one was far more sentimental. Again, this is a Super Bowl ad in 2016. It's a man sitting down at the table talking to his daughter. He's using this product to show the daughter the members of the family. He moves one of these products to her and says, "This is me." Then moves the second saying, "This is mommy." The girl grabs the third and says, "This one is me." Then the father pulls out one more to explain to his daughter that there's a baby coming. And then the daughter grabs a fifth to say, "Yes, and a puppy." Think about that brand. You may be imagining the commercial. If you do, you maybe will remember the brand. There's plenty of hints in there. With that, we are going to do the bonus round. This one's worth 3 points. It is significantly more recent. So if you get it, good on you. But if not, then hey, double jeopardy. Okay. This one's about the Hawk Tuah girl. This young lady was interviewed on a random street interview. And the question I have, because you probably know the Hawk Tuah girl, she got a podcast out of it. She got a lot of merch, completely went viral. The question is, and this is a 2-part question, 3 points if you can get part A or part B. 1, what is her name? Do you know the name of the Hawk Tuah girl? That's 1. 3 points if you can get it. 3 points if you can get the other one. What is the name of the podcast where she made the Hawk Tuah reference? What is the name of... It's really more of a YouTube short, but what was the brand on the YouTube short where she made the Hawk Tuah comment? Now, before we get past any of that, we're going to roll back to the very beginning. And if you remember this ad, this one's for 1 point. There's a man on a horse. Your man could smell like this. And I'm putting in a little bit more character behind it. Look at me. Now back to your man. Now back to me. Now back to your man. Does he smell like me? You wish he could. If you guessed Old Spice, that is correct. The second one, Puppy Monkey Baby. 3 dudes sitting on a couch, and then Puppy Monkey Baby shows up and hands them the product. If you said Mountain Dew, then you would be correct. That is the name of the Puppy Monkey Baby ad. The third was the one where there was a dad who's sitting at the kitchen table with his daughter, sliding their product across the table to explain that they're expecting a baby. That ad was for, if you said Cheerios, you would be correct. And lastly, for all of the points, because you can come back and win it, the Hawk Tuah girl, if you know her name, that's 3 points. Her name is Haley Welsh. If you said Haley Welsh, 3 points to you. You could have come back and won the entire thing. And lastly, if you were to guess the podcast or the interviewing group that did the video, if you guessed Tim and DTV, then you would have got it correct. Now think about all of that, and there's a point to be made here. Ideally, you at least got the first 3 questions. If you didn't, but you remembered the ad, that illustrates the entire point. It's easy to remember the ad and forget the product. In the same way, it's easy to go viral with something and then be removed from memory because people focus so much on your virality. Hawk Tuah girl is the perfect example. Haley Welsh. All credit to her. I'm not taking anything from her. But how many of you actually knew her name? Or knew the interviewers who are doing that interview? The point being is that one shouldn't focus primarily on becoming viral. You'll get a lot more for your brand if you continue to make yourself mentally available. You don't have to be super flashy. You don't have to be super entertaining. You have to be super consistent. So when people see you, your brand, hear your jingle, they know exactly what they're getting into. And that is the value of asset management. So again, mental availability gets you to the gate. Physical availability gets you through the gate. There's no viral moment that will substitute for the consistent, broad presence that pushing yourself out will get you over time. And that's all of chapter 12. And that is how brands grow. The next episode, we'll get into the outro, and we'll pull the whole series together before we close this thing out. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're ready to build the kind of presence that compounds over time, rather than fading into a moment of virality and then being forgotten, come join us at enochmarketing.com. This is Enoch Marketing. I'm Colin Charles, and I hope to see you in the next one.